Well, it has been just an awful winter in most parts of the country, but the sun is shining bright, temperature pushing towards 80 degrees, and drivers from the NASCAR Nationwide Series are getting ready for qualifying. And that man right there, Kevin Harvick, has won at this track 7 times in all 3 touring series. Kyle Busch has 4 wins, including 2 in the Nationwide Series. Carl Edwards has won this event 3 times. Yes, we're in the desert of Phoenix, and yes, we're getting ready to go qualifying. And we welcome you to Phoenix International Raceway. As you can see, the sky is crystal clear. Temperature, as we said, pushing 80 degrees. And we've got quite a few cars that are in line. There they are, getting ready for qualifying efforts here at the next stop on the NASCAR Nationwide Tour for 2010. Let's get some of the news that is going on, and there is some big news happening down on pit road. First up, let's welcome back Shannon Spake.
Well, thanks, Marty. It's good to be back. And another driver happy to be back here at Phoenix is defending race winner Greg Biffle. He's found himself exactly where he left off last year, on top of the speed charts. Biffle has 3 wins here at Phoenix, and while he's not driving for the powerhouse Roush Fenway here today, this Baker Curb team has been very impressive so far this season. They have 3 top 10s and have led laps in every race that they've competed in 2010. Speaking with Biffle's crew chief this morning, he told me he feels Greg Biffle's the most underrated driver in the NASCAR garage. So let's see, an underrated driver, a team with really nothing to lose. Sounds like it could absolutely be a winning combination here today. Now with some breaking news, over to Jamie Little.
Well, Shannon, this developing story started this morning in practice, the 21 car for Richard Childress Racing. You know, the driver has been young John West Townley this entire season, but in practice he had another crash. At this point, Richard Childress came over, pulled him from the car, told him he would be replaced by Clint Bowyer. Now, a representative from the team told me they pulled John West as a precautionary reason. Now, another member of the team also told me John West Townley has been fired from Richard Childress Racing, and the future of this team is up in the air at this point. Now, Clint Bowyer has not turned a single lap in a Nationwide car yet this year, but they did make some quick changes. You see his name is on the car. He's quite fast here, but guys, this is a backup car. They're waiting to go through inspection right now. They were due to go out and qualify first. Once they go through inspection, they will be on a 5-minute clock. Marty?
And so his first laps will be hot laps for qualifying here at the 1-mile oval at Phoenix International Raceway. Let's talk about how important qualifying is, because it is one of these tracks that has a definite trend. 3 winners have come from the pole, but look at that top 4. 13 out of 16 winners have come from the top 4 starting positions, and that includes the last 7 consecutive races. So as we come topside and we bring in Rusty Wallace and Andy Petrie, we're going to talk a little bit about strategy, because we learned before we went on the air 2 totally different philosophies. Andy, you always compromised at this place.
Yeah, this has always been a very big challenge for me as a crew chief. Because of the shape, you've got those 2 different ends of the racetrack. You got the dog leg, and I've always kind of compromised my setup to favor 3 and 4 to try to get the most speed I could over there to carry the speed down the front straightaway, and that's what I've always done. But I've never had the success that, say, Rusty Wallace has had. I mean, maybe some top 5 finishes, but never a win here at this track.
And that's a good point you brought up about, you know, having to compromise a little bit. But at this particular track, maybe Pocono, Pennsylvania, I might compromise because the corners are so much different there. But here at this particular track in Arizona, I never compromised turn 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. I wanted my car to be good in both corners. So, I mean, I worked hard until I got the car handling well, and it always paid good dividends for me. But no compromise for me.
Well, maybe that's why I never had any success here.
Well, we'll find out which theory actually works, because the cars are getting ready to go for their 2-lap qualifying effort here at Phoenix International Raceway. Race number 6 of the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series. Back here at Phoenix International Raceway, and we are getting ready for qualifying. You heard Jamie Little report that Clint Bowyer taking over John West Townley's ride in the 21, scheduled to be first in line. They have been excused because of the crash damage, and they have just cleared tech, from what I understand. And I think Clint has been caught up too by Jamie Little.
He sure has. Actually, they are 2 cars away from going through inspection, so the clock has not started for them yet. But, Clint, you were just told of this information. You were jumping in the car a couple hours ago. Have you even had a chance to check out the inside, make sure you're comfortable?
Well, that's what I was fixing to do. But, yeah, I came over here earlier, and I guess he was using my seat. It said Clint Bowyer on it. So, you know, a lot of that's happened. When I came to RCR, I always used Kevin Harvick's seats, and it looks like John West has been using mine. But difficult situation here. John West is a good kid. It's a great family, a great sponsor with Zaxby's. We just got to make sure that we get things turned back around a little bit. He had a hard wreck there in practice, and hopefully we can get things turned around and get a good finish for Zaxby's and all these guys on this nationwide team, and hopefully get John West back in this thing soon.
Well, you were scheduled to be in the pit studio with Alan Bestwick for our broadcast tonight, but now you get to actually race. I know this is something you've been looking forward to. What do you think? Back in Phoenix, another win perhaps?
I was looking forward to participating in the nationwide series, commentating, but now we're going to be racing. But like I said, these guys have been working hard getting this car switched over, and hopefully we can get them a good run and get things turned back around for John.
All right. Thanks a lot, Clint Bowyer. See what he can do. First lap's out. We'll be qualifying.
Well, and the former champion looks like he's a little excited about possibly getting back into that saddle. So as we get towards break, here are Clint's numbers. As you can see, April of 2007, he won here in Phoenix in the Nationwide Series, and his average finish, 6.7. Stay with us. Phoenix International Raceway, first car to qualify is Brendan Gaughan in the South Point number 62 Toyota. And his first lap at 28.327. And you guys were saying during the break, really wouldn't like to be first out.
No, not me. I don't want to be the first one in the racetrack. That track's usually hot, slick. The Cup cars just got done practicing here, which is kind of a good thing because they kind of got the track ran in, so to speak. But still, going out first, it gets in your head. I don't like that.
Yeah, he's a few tenths off of what his practice speed was. He was around a 28 flat in practice, and at 28.32 on the first lap. Picks it up slightly on the second at 28.21, even though he went high in turn 2.
28.21 on the second lap. So Brendan, a little bit slower than earlier today, but again, the heat was a little bit less and the track temperature was cooler, and we'll find out how it'll affect everybody. Now let's go back 1 week ago because his teammate Stephen Wallace, take a look in the 66, and we tried to go 4 wide and it doesn't work. This was the net result, as it was a multi-car crash, and Stephen broke his foot, and there you saw him limping out of the car and has a special device, and there he is getting ready to qualify his car, and he's with Shannon Spake.
Well, if there were awards for the toughness driver in the field today, it would definitely go to Stephen Wallace. Break in 3 different places in that foot of yours. What exactly have you guys done? What modifications have you made in order to make it possible for you to drive today?
Well, me and my 5-hour guys, we built a shoe out of carbon fiber. My foot's real swelled up, and the toes can't bend at all. So we put we put a carbon fiber plate there on the bottom side of the shoe, so the toes can't bend. And it's been a real tough week for us. We've had 2 really bad wrecks. Both in the both previous races, and we've fallen in the points. But we're hoping to have a real good run tonight, and it should be fun.
Well, the team told me this morning that Stephen put so much pressure on himself inside this car, and as soon as that wreck happened last week, he looked at the team and said, I will absolutely be in the car this weekend. Guys?
Well, and there is a standby driver, David Ruderman. We'll talk more about that, but let's focus right now on the 20 of Joey Logano. He's led more laps this year than everybody else, or than anybody else in the series, and yet to win. And he has a very good second lap. Good first lap. Second one's even better, 27.7 seconds, so it moves him to the #1 spot after 2 cars have qualified.
Marty, I think we're going to see throughout the day the second lap getting quicker and quicker for almost everybody out here. This track is very, very susceptible. You got to get the tires hot the second lap. You really got to get yourself up to speed, got to get the momentum going. And like we said, the track is real slippery, and almost every single time I've come here, Andy, second lap has always been the money lap.
Yeah, and one of the other things is the track's probably a lot hotter than when they practice, and I'm sure it's kind of throwing some of these drivers a little bit of a curve on how hard they can actually go on that first lap.
Trevor Bayne on track right now, and Trevor during practice was 4th quickest, and I caught up with him in the garage area, and he said, I really like these one-day shows, and if you go back to ORP last year, remember he sat on pole, and that Indianapolis event is a one-day show, and here he is right now tracking below the line set by our current pole sitter, Joey Logano.
He checks in there 28.26. We'll see if he can pick up this second lap. He's got way high in turn 2 on that first lap.
He's got top 15 finishes in 3 of the first 5 races this season.
See the car really bobble, get down into turn 1 that last lap. Kind of moved around too much on him. Doesn't look like the second lap is much quicker. In fact, a little slower right now.
And no threat to take over the #1 spot from Logano as he heads for the stripe. Trevor Bayne, the 19-year-old, comes across at 28.4, so he actually was a tick slower on lap number 2 by 0.2 of a second. You know, we talked about Greg Biffle and what he has done for that 27 Baker Curb team. Let's talk to him, Shannon.
Your defending race winner, Greg Biffle. Your crew chief told me you guys did make a mock qualifying run. What do you think you got for us in his car here today?
Well, I mean, it just depends on how much it cools off. I think the car's pretty fast. The Redman Ford Fusion has been really good, and I really enjoy driving for these guys. I'm having a lot of fun. I feel like a kid again driving these Nationwide cars. It's a lot of fun. So just go out and give it the best lap I can and see what I can do.
And I know the team is having a lot of fun driving with Greg Biffle this season. Marty?
He was the quickest in the one and only practice, a 2-hour practice that these guys had earlier today. Reed Sorensen on the track right now, and he finished second last week, of course, in that dramatic run at the end at Nashville where he was closing in and just ran out of laps.
Yeah, excuse me, Russ, he almost won that race. I mean, that's a true testament, really, to Todd Braun's whole organization. They're doing it right. They're not a big cup effort, but they do race with them, race in and race out. I mean, they have the performance to win races. They proved it last week.
And his first lap at 28.4 seconds.
See, working that apron down on the bottom there.
You can see our ticker. He's quite a bit faster. In fact, he's a little bit quicker to second lap. Things looking pretty good for him right now. That car before, Trevor Bayne, he just actually got down in turn 1 and lost it. I think that's the reason his second lap fell off. But Reed's looking real good right now.
Well, Reed's best starts here have been 5th twice, and his best finish a 2nd. And that was back in 06. Second lap moves him up to number 2 at 28.03 seconds. So Joey Logano still holds on to the number 1 spot, but Reed Sorensen moves in to the number 2. Now, this 32 car has had several drivers in it, but yet look at the finishes. There are only 2 drivers that have finished in the top 10 in all 5 races. That's Carl Edwards and Justin Allgaier. But the 32 car with multiple drivers makes it 3.
All single digits over there on the right. That's a true testament, like I said, to this team. They're doing a great job.
So between Vickers and Reed Sorensen, they've given that car some great rides. So we've got 4 cars down, and we're not going to try and build any false drama. There's only 1 car going to be going home, 44 cars here. But we talked about how important it is to be up front. On the track right now is Eric McClure, the 31-year-old from Virginia, and the tracker is heading south.
Yeah, not looking good right now. Marty, you talked about only 1 car going home. I'm going to go back to this a little bit. Yeah, 1 car's going home, but his track position, these guys have got to qualify well. I know when I run here, Andy, this track, if you qualified back, it seems like the leaders were on the front straightaway and you were on the back straightaway. We were so far behind, and you can never get caught up in the race.
Yeah, even if you have a fast car, it's so difficult at these flat 1-mile racetracks to make that track position. It takes, lap after lap to set somebody up, to make a pass on them, and then, they get strung out on you. Like you said, you'll be looking at that leader in your mirror if you're not careful.
Well, Eric's first lap, 29.6 seconds. That's the slowest of the 5 cars to take time so far. And a little better on this lap, but still no threat to make a major march towards the front. And it's sliding lower here as he comes to the stripe. The end of lap number 2, and he crosses the line a half a second quicker, 29.15 seconds. But still, that will be 5th out of the 5 cars that have qualified. Let's talk about our motorsports calendar coming up, because you don't want to tune off ESPN2, because at 9 Eastern tonight, we've got the NASCAR Nationwide Series, race number 6, 2010 schedule. And then NASCAR Now is coming up next, and again at tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then we've also got drag racing action. The O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals qualifying's tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern, and the finals are Sunday at 8 Eastern. Both of those are on ESPN2. So that gets you set for the weekend. And we're getting set right now for Stephen Wallace. And, I want to know one thing. Why aren't you, Rusty Wallace, the standby driver in case, Stephen can't go?
Come on, you know the answer to that. I'm smarter than that. I've had my career racing and I enjoyed it, but I kind of like watching these guys now.
Well, we were going to mic you up and let you scream and holler all the way around the track going, oh, I forgot how to do this.
Well, when they come back, I scream and holler anyway when the car doesn't run good. Well, I would have done this. I would have done that. Why'd you guys do this?
I think Stephen would wrestle to keep you out of it.
Yeah.
With broken foot and all, first lap at 28.18. That's good enough for number 3 right now. And here he is on lap number 2.
tell you, Rusty, your teams have had the performance this year. A lot of bad luck for Steven, especially the last 2 weeks. He's just outside the top 10 in points, but that car's been fast.
Yeah, the car's been real quick. I appreciate you saying that, and they really have. You know, one thing that the drivers, I know my drivers have been complaining about. What do we got here? A second quick. So good run out of Steven. 28 flat. That's a strong run for the team. Going back to what they were saying, they're tired of all this off time, Andy. In the month of March, they only raced one race.
Yeah, it's hard to build momentum.
Yeah, no momentum. So they're looking forward now to get going and see what's going to happen.
So Steven right now slotted right behind Joey Logano and ahead of Reed Sorensen. 6 cars have taken official qualifying attempts. And coming out now, Greg Biffle. And boy, we have said this about the last 3 races. What this guy and this team have done together has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, I heard actually it was Shannon Spake talking about how Ricky Byers, the crew chief, said that Biffle was an underrated driver in that garage area. I don't know who's doing the rating, but I don't rank him down very far. I'm telling you, this guy is a wheel man. He gets everything there is out of a race car, and he's doing a great job for this team. And you can just see how happy he is. I mean, they're having a lot of fun. There's Ricky Byers, the crew chief.
Look at this. This is close to a pole position run right now. In fact, it looks like he's into the green by a 1/10 of a second. Can he hold on to it? Here he comes to the stripe. Lap number 1. Yes, sir. 27.66 seconds.
Okay, he needs to try to get a better lap here on this second lap because there's a lot of good cars left to go.
Boy, he is rim riding.
That is an incredible first lap. Very, very fast, but it looks like
that might be it for him.
Yeah, their money lap was the first one.
Well, it looked like he got a little high coming through 1 and 2. And as he comes out of 4, it will not be as good as the first lap. So he'll stand on that 27.66 second effort. And this one was at 27.9. So fell off a little bit on lap number 2. But right now, you're looking at Greg Biffle, who is your temporary pole sitter, as we've still got a lot more cars to come, including Kyle Busch. And he'll be chasing along with Brad Keselowski, who's been on pole twice this year, and our points leader, Carl Edwards. Back here at Phoenix International Raceway qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Johnny Sauter ran a 23.39 second best lap, puts him 7th. And there he is coming in. And right behind him, Brian Scott, one of the rookies this year in the crop, and he is completing his run as he moves into the number 5 position, 28.17 seconds. So he puts himself 5th on the provisional grid. Okay, so if you weren't with us 1 week ago, you know we had a little bit of contact between a couple of drivers. Let's take you back to Nashville. Early in the race, watch number 1 of James Buescher. The rookie slides up the track, gets into Jason Leffler. Leffler later said he did it to me about 4 times and then I went into the wall. So he comes out later. And let's listen to the radio.
Still out there, 99, clear up. Still out there to 1. Hold on there. All right, clear.
So that got Mr. Leffler put on a 3-race probation. He was 63 laps down at the time that he came out and sort of retaliated. And there is James Buescher. Let's talk to him. He's with Shannon.
And getting ready for qualifying right now. A 3-race probation for Jason Leffler after that brawl on the track last week. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's the same penalty that NASCAR gave Carl Edwards with him and Brad Keselowski's incident. But, you know, last week I didn't mean to get in Jason at all, and I guess he didn't see it the same way. We just got loose under him, hard racing, and he paid us back for it. But we're not going to let it slow us down at all. We got good cars coming to the racetrack, and these guys at Phoenix Racing are working really hard for me. So, I mean, we can't let it slow us down. We just have to finish strong and get some good solid finishes under us and get back up there in the points.
And Marty James did tell me that he has not spoken with Jason Leffler as of late, and it looks like we have a new pole sitter right now, Kyle Busch.
Yes, for the 4th time. I mean, Kyle has 3 poles here, and he may be getting number 4. His first lap was actually the best lap at 27.55 seconds, and then 27.7 on lap number 2. So the different paint scheme for the 18 this weekend so far, the combo is working well.
Well, that's the second car now we've seen really pick up on the first lap's been everything. The second lap has not been as important. Makes me think they're running real high air pressures, Andy, and maybe the car just goes away the second lap.
Yeah, you look at the leaderboard, the top 2 cars ran their fastest lap on the first lap, but then if you look on down, almost all the rest of the cars ran their fastest lap on the second. So there's a trend there, I think it must be in that air pressure in that setup.
Well, here's a guy who could take that pole away. You got the 22 of Brad Keselowski. He's been on point twice so far this season in that Dodge. He's 16 points behind Carl Edwards. In fact, we've got the best championship race in years. 61 points separate the top 5. We'll talk more about that tonight during the race.
Now, I think Penske's done an outstanding job this year with these two teams now. They've got Justin Allgaier in the 12 and this car, the 22 with Brad. They've done a great job, been so competitive with a win with the 12 car. That's second place right there on his first lap for Brad Keselowski at a 63.
27.63 seconds. Watch the tracker. He's looking in the green.
3 first lap.
He's got a 10th clear of the pole right now going into 3 if he can hold on to it.
This is where he lost a little bit on the first lap, and this one's better.
Yeah, but it's going the wrong way.
Hang on. This is going to be close. This is going to be close. He's going to stay number 2. Keselowski, 27.56 by 1/100th of a second.
That is tight right there. I tell you, they started this team and brought Paul Wolf over as the crew chief, and this guy has really lit this team up. He's been doing a good job with them. It's like Keselowski and Wolf as a team, right off the bat, guys are clicking.
Look at the closest points championships after 5 races and see where 2010 shapes up. And it is 4th best, dating all the way back to 1986. As we mentioned, 61 points separates the top 5. And speaking of the points, let's bring in our points leader, Carl Edwards, former champion in the series, doing double duty, as are 12 others this weekend.
He drove her in there. See it in the green going through turns 1 and 2. Losing just a skosh down the backstretch.
He's into the red. It's heading south through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's hanging on pretty good, though. I mean, he definitely lost it. It's like he got into turn 1 so deep that he lost his corner speed on exit of turn 2. Didn't get back to the throttle early enough, and it really hurt his back straightaway, but
here he is again. You can see it in the green, solidly in the green.
Yep. 27
now coming off the corner.
Well, we talked about compromise. We're talking about, you got to give up something in 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. But this time, he's much cleaner coming through 3. Can he hold on to it? We could have another new pole sitter out of 4 down the front straightaway. Checkered flag, and the number says 27.49 seconds, and he is your new pole sitter.
Talk to you when you get in here.
I'll tell you what, that's a fast lap. I mean, that is incredible right there. This guy has been strong. This morning I was up watching him on the racetrack. I was actually outside the track, guys. That car comes out the corner with the left front just laying on the ground and stays that way all through the corner. And these guys have got this setup working, and they learned it about 3 years ago, and they've stuck with it. I know they changed a lot of stuff, but that's where I noticed a light switch went off on this team.
Roush Fenway's won 14 races here in all 3 touring series. And, remember last year, Carl, he had a fracture in his foot, an ankle area. He knows something about how to race with it, and I guess we've caught up to the man who's racing with it this week, Jamie.
That would be Stephen Wallace. And before both of you got in the car, Carl Edwards came up and gave you a little bit of advice how to drive with a broken foot. What do you say, Stephen?
Well, I was talking to him there on the phone, earlier this week, and he brought a little piece of carbon fiber to set inside my shoe, and he helped me out a little bit. But most importantly, all the 5-hour guys back at the shop, we've all worked real hard the past 2 weeks trying to get these cars repaired, and we're excited about today. And although we got a broken foot, I feel like we got a pretty good 5-hour Toyota for tonight's race. We'll see. And
he said he feels good for the race. Let's show the shoe real quick. A size 14. He normally wears a 12. You can see the carbon fiber here, and there's carbon fiber inside as well. Thanks, Stephen. Marty?
Yeah, let's let him get off that foot and rest it, because he's going to be needing it a little bit later in this race tonight. We'll be on the air at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Kelly Byers right now 10th on lap number 1, and not looking like he's going to improve much on lap number 2 as he comes down across the line. He gets up to the 8th spot, 28.16 seconds.
Not a bad run for Kelly. Different colors in that car this weekend. What you say, Whiskey River? That's Whiskey Dale River. Jr.'s bar, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a new bar down in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And for Kelly, he'll be looking for his 4th top 15 finish in 5 starts tonight, as he's already got 3 of them. And while we got a moment, let's talk a little bit about the NBA, because ABC is your NBA destination for Sunday Showcase. First at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, the top two teams in the East go head-to-head. Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic take on LeBron James and the Cavs. Then at 3:30 Eastern, it's the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers, the NBA Sunday Showcase on ABC. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern with GMC Sierra NBA Countdown. And we talked to James Busher a little bit earlier about the incident from last week. He's now out on track and on his first lap.
The car did some real wicked-looking thing getting down into turn 3. I noticed the left front was way up in the air, then it just slammed itself down like maybe it's not enough grip in the tires yet to just keep the front end hooked up. That'll give you that weird look every now and then, Andy, if the tires aren't warmed up enough.
There's Nick Harrison. He's the crew chief on the car, and I'm sure he's going to go back and look at this too. You can see how it is pretty harsh when it sets down, and it's not doing exactly what they want right now.
And of course, the big challenge is we're going to be racing when the track is going to be cooling off, the sun's going to be going down, temperature's going to be dropping. And what do you compromise on? 28.31 on the second lap. That'll be good enough for 12th out of 14 cars.
That was a huge pickup too, over 0.7 of a second.
Well, for James, who made his first ever Nationwide Series start back here in 08, where he finished 18th, he's going to start, at least right now, in the 12th position. And as we go back out on trackside, right after Mr. Busher, guess who drew the next pill? It's Jason Leffler.
Isn't that the way it always works?
Well, Jason, I asked him, I said, you going to drive any differently with the probation? He goes, heck no. He says, I'm going to be aggressive. He says, I'm not going to take anybody out, but I'm not going to give away anything either.
Well, I can tell you, NASCAR said at the beginning of the season they were going to let these guys race and let them take the gloves off and show more of their emotion on the track, and they've done that. I mean, these two cars right here definitely showed it last week. You've seen that really kind of affect the teams probably more than the drivers, because the teams have had to fix a lot of race cars this year.
Well, and he's 15th in points right now, and the one thing he emphasized, we need some good finishes. We need to be up higher.
Yeah, he can't sacrifice to lose any more points. I mean, this is all about, winning races and getting that head table at the end of the year for the championship. But, Andy, I want to go back to one thing you just said. I mean, I wish these guys would just kind of meet each other in a parking lot after the race is over to talk about it, because, I mean, they are tearing up a lot of race cars using these things as payback. I mean, the guys at the shop, they don't like that a bit. I'll guarantee you that.
Spoken like a true owner that has to sign the check.
Well, it's not just the checks either. I mean, these guys work really hard on these cars, and when they wreck them like this week in and week out, you have to spend a lot of hours at the shop, a lot of overtime hours that you have to spend to catch back up, and that's frustrating for the teams.
Leffler's first lap was his best. It's going to slot him in the number 11 position at a 28.23 second elapsed time. So as we get ready to head to commercial break, we can tell you that the 21 of Clint Bowyer has made it through tech, so the 5-minute clock is running. And when we come back, Clint's going to climb in for the first time. One of 3 cars that crashed during practice today, the 15 of Michael Annett. That is a backup car that he is in, and you can see his first lap, 28.6. That's 16th out of 17 cars that have taken times.
Yeah, to get in a backup car and get right out there and try to get the thing going as fast as the other car is tough right now for Michael. Yeah, he's had a pretty good year, though.
Especially the way that car snapped. It really snapped out from under him in practice. And, man, that'll make you gun-shy, especially on a hot, slick racetrack like we have today.
Well, he finished a season-best 9th last week at Nashville. He comes across the stripe a little bit quicker, but it's not going to improve his position. 28.45 seconds, and it leaves him 16th out of 17 cars. So they're going to have their work cut out for him to try and work their way towards the front of the field. And we told you about the fact that he was one of 3 cars that crashed. Here's what happened to him in practice like 5 minutes in.
Yeah, you look at the car just snaps around real quickly, not a chance to save it. You see right here getting a lot of damage, so they had to go to a backup car.
So a tough break for the team. And while we were in commercial break, we didn't get a chance to tell you about Paul Menard. He is 5th on the board right now. His best lap was 27.69 seconds. And there you see his stats there. As we're getting ready now for Clint Bowyer. And these will be the first laps that he has turned in this car all year.
Yeah, I talked to the team, though, and this is a good car. They had a backup car sitting in there in the truck that they feel good about. It's their latest generation body on this car. They feel like they're going to be good. Still a lot of unknowns because they haven't practiced the car at all. This is the first laps they've had on it.
if you're driving this thing, what do you do? Are you just warming up for 2 laps and then going for the second one?
Well, I would be pulling out of the the pit lane like he did, and when I go down in the first corner, I'm like, okay, is it underneath me? Is it okay? Then the other corner, a little more warm up, and he just might have to throw this first lap away just to get accustomed to what this car is doing and make the second lap the money lap. But his heart's pumping real hard right now. He's paying a lot of attention to what's going on because he hasn't had any practice at all yet.
Oh, the other thing too is they don't have another car. This is their backup. He can't push it but so hard. Go out there and tear this one up, then what? They got nothing.
Well, the tracker shows that it's improving. 13th on the first lap. It's sliding a little south. Way too tight, you hear him say. He does move up to 12th, but Clint, 28.22 seconds. Now, we made a big deal about starting in the top 4. The farthest back anybody has ever won this race, 20th by Greg Biffle. And let's check in now with our points leader, Carl Edwards. Jamie Little's caught up with him.
Well, word is slowly spreading down here. Carl just said, who's in the 21? I said, Clint Boyer's in the 21. What do you think about that?
Well, I know he won some sort of bet where he had to keep he got his name on all those cars, so I never know who's driving.
It was a last-minute change, though, so it was John West Townley this morning.
Okay, all right. Well, I just can't say enough about my guys. This Copart.com Ford Fusion was pretty fast in qualifying. I think that'll be a top, 2 or 3 spot, and that'll get us a good starting spot. And I'd love to win a race for these guys. It's Copart.com. If you guys need a used car or truck or boat or motorcycle, they've got everything there, and we'd love to win a race for them.
All right, Carl Edwards going for his 4th win here and his 1st of the year. Marty?
Thank you, Jamie. On the track right now is 20-year-old Landon Castle, as he has taken over the 7 after Scott Wimmer gave it a couple of good rides in the last 2 races. And he's got some pressure on him because GoDaddy is headquartered here in Scottsdale. So all the bosses and the brass are going to be out watching.
I think he might have some guests out here, so he's got to push the right foot a little harder, get this baby going quicker, maybe feel a little pressure.
Big opportunity for him as he'll be in this car for, I believe, it's what, the next 4 or 5 races.
Yeah, he's going to be in the car for a few, and it is a lot of pressure, Rusty. I mean, this is a young guy that's looking, he's had an opportunity. He's been out now for a few races, and he's got another opportunity, so he wants to make the absolute most of it.
Well, take a look at the time, and you can see his, almost identical laps, 28.303 and a 3:08 on lap number 2. Well, that puts him 15th.
We'll give him an A for consistency there, 0.05 of a second between the 2 laps.
Next up is Kevin Harvick, the only 2-time winner this year on tour. And take a look at his career with combined Richard Childress Racing and his own team. Total of 36 wins now, 4 of them in his own car. 27 to 97 in the top 5s, and the average finish 8.4 with Richard and 10.2 so far. And he has won 7 times at this track.
And he is hot right now. Coming off a win last week. Everything's going the right direction over at KHI.
Just nothing better than winning in your own car that you own. And Kevin just been doing a fantastic job. He was 10th fastest in practice this morning in this car. The track's actually a little hotter and slicker right now.
Well, you can see he's really chasing the car right there in 3 and 4, catching a piece of the apron and he's sawing on that wheel.
As he comes down towards the stripe for the first lap, the time comes up at 27.9. That's good for 7. And speaking of that magic number 7, those 7 wins, if you break them down, 4 in the Truck Series, 2 in Cup, and 1 in the Nationwide.
Carry a lot of speed down to turn 3. That's where Kevin's entering right now.
Yeah, he chase it, though.
Loses it, gets up the track's got to abort. Yep,
okay,
he's done.
We're done.
He'll just click it on off and bring it on in. So he'll stay tentatively in that number 7 spot with Joey Logano ahead of him, Stephen Wallace right behind him. And let's check in now with Shannon Spake.
Marty, funny story. This weekend when Mike Wallace's crew arrived at the track, they couldn't find their hauler. And that's because you're 10th in owner points, and they are in the high rent district of that garage. How much fun are you having this season, Mike?
Oh, I'm having a great time. Johnny and Lori Davis are feeling a great race car with nothing. We don't have any sponsors on our car, and so you can go to jdavismotorsports.com. We'd like to have something on it, but it's really cool to be way up in the points. I mean, we're literally battling with the cars, got a lot of sponsor dollars, and I tell Johnny he's the man, and he tells me I'm the man. So we're having a great time with it, and it's great for the morale of the race team, and just happy to be here.
It's the little team that could, and Phoenix means a lot to Mike Wallace. It's where he got his first. Okay, hold on. What?
We're the Who Dat team, like to say Who Dat. That's us.
Well, maybe they'll win the Super Bowl this year. Mike Wallace made his first Cup start here. He also made a start here with his two brothers. First time that happened, Marty.
Thank you, Shannon, as they're getting ready to push down a little bit closer to their time to run. On the track right now is Victor Gonzalez. He's 34 years old from Puerto Rico. He's the first driver from Puerto Rico to compete in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He raced with the series last year at Montreal, started 36th, and came home a very respectable 14th.
Well, Victor actually had a crash this morning, tore the back of that car up pretty good, and I believe this is a backup car right now.
Whoa.
So he's got a tough job ahead of him to get this thing in the field, because he didn't hardly have any time in this car after that wreck.
Did you see that thing sashaying down into 3?
Yeah, he did a good job to save it right there.
I thought for a second we were going to scratch off number 2. All right, first lap, he is 21st out of 21 cars. It was 29.7 seconds. That gives you an idea. Now watch him coming through here. This is where he had trouble before, heading from here down into 3, and much cleaner.
Yeah, he doesn't need to take any chances because he is guaranteed a spot. He'll be in the race no matter what, and only one car going home, so doesn't want to tear up another car.
And I would think the crew chief would be telling them that, hey, just get this thing around. Let's get it qualified. That's all we need right now.
Yeah, they are 28th in owner points. The top 30 are guaranteed, but they're only 26 points ahead of 31st, so the race will be very important for this team. And he does move up one spot to 20th, and that's at 29.14 seconds. We mentioned his practice crash. There was just about 5 minutes left in the session, and that's what happened.
Well, you don't want that to have happen. I actually was really paying a lot of attention to this because there was many cars getting ready to make qualifying attempts on pit road, and when he crashed, nobody could go out, and a lot of teams are going, oh man, we didn't get our qualifying run in because of this crash. So a lot of uncertainty about how these guys' cars are.
Well, Jamie has caught up with Clint Bowyer. Let's find out what he thought of the car.
And he sits 13th right now, so first laps in a nationwide car of the year. They're 2 fast ones in qualifying. What do you think of the car?
Well, it was just really tight, but you know, we had to play it conservative. You didn't want it loose. Everybody's been slipping and sliding around, especially in Cup practice, and I actually walked over conservative and told him, hey, tighten it up a little bit more to make sure, but just way too tight. But we'll adjust on it, and you know, he put as much adjustability as he can into it. It's just with no practice and everything else, you just got to dig yourself out of a hole. But I think Zaxby Chevrolet still looks good, so should be good tonight. Have fun. We'll have fun.
All right, and he's going to be back with his championship-winning team and crew chief. It's kind of like a reunion here today.
Well, we'll see if they can celebrate by evening's end. Right now, you're looking at Jason Bowles in the Rab Racing 09. He raced here at Phoenix last November, started 33rd, finished 31st. And you can see on lap number 1, he was 20th, and on lap number 2, he jumps up to the 18th position. So the 27-year-old from Ontario, California, looks to be solidly in the middle of the field. So as he goes on out, let's talk about the calendar, because we'll have the race tonight from here in Phoenix, 9 o'clock Eastern. That'll be on ESPN2. And then don't forget that NASCAR Now is coming up next, but again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then the O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals qualifying tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern. The final Sunday at 8 Eastern, all on ESPN2. Kenny Wallace on track right now. He's clicked off his first lap at 28.77 seconds. That's 22nd quick out of 24 cars that have taken times. And coming through turns 3 and 4, looking to improve.
Looks like the car's just getting up a little too high on the racetrack. Looks like it needs to keep a little bit lower line. Must be pushing the front end or something like that causing it to happen. But second lap, yeah, just almost...
Tick slower.
A little bit slower. Got everything he could the first lap out of it.
So he stays 22nd right now. During the commercial break, Josh Wise ran a 28.51. That was good enough to put him 21st, right ahead of where Kenny Wallace finds himself right now. So as we get ready now for Joe Nemechek to come out on track, he'll be our next car to qualify here. Track right now, the ambient temperature outside 85 degrees. It's expected to drop to between 80 and 82 by the start of the race, but by the finish of the race, it'll be 76. Crew chief?
Pretty big swing.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of adjustability in the car. I talked to Ricky Vyers, crew chief for Greg Biffle. He said he expected the track to actually get tighter tonight, and they have set their car up accordingly, and they're going to make adjustments during the race.
I would do the same thing.
Well, that tells me they're doing something right. If you could do that.
Oh, I don't know about that, but Andy, one thing that drives me crazy is every single time we come to this racetrack, the track always gets tighter. But with these setups in the front of these Nationwide cars, the coil-bound setup, we actually saw a lot of cars, as it cools off, the track gets looser. And that really throws a lot of teams for a loop, that one.
Especially when you're expecting to go one way and it doesn't. It goes the other. And then you don't have enough adjustability to go that direction.
Joe Nemechek on his first lap, currently 19th. His best start here was back in 04 when he qualified 10th.
He's going to pick it up a little bit right here on the second lap.
Yes, he is. He moves up to 10th, exactly where he started, where we mentioned his best start. Now, probably won't stay there because we still got quite a few cars to go, but a very good run for Front Row Joe at 28.14 seconds.
I like that sponsor he's got on his car, PetSmart. I feel like I live in that place. They use so much dog food, it's unreal. That's a good sponsor.
So as Joe coasted on out, it'll be up to Mike Bliss to take to the track. And Mike turned 45 last Monday, and we'll wish him a happy birthday. His best start here was back in 08. He started 5th. He's had 4 consecutive top 10 finishes here at Phoenix International Raceway.
When I see Mike Bliss in a Nationwide car, Andy, I just immediately think of that number 11 car that he drove last year, of how strong he was every single race, top 5 all the time. Then the doggone team ran out of money and they decided to quit racing. But boy, he was fantastic in that car.
Yeah, that was a shame. They had something really going good there with that team. But, you know, this 40 teams had some good runs also. Mike Bliss, just a great driver to build a team around.
His first lap, good enough for 23rd right now at 28.75 seconds.
He's really going to have to pick it up the second lap. That was not a good run at all. I mean, definitely not the way Mike Bliss normally drives. He really runs strong at this racetrack.
You know, you mentioned how consistent he was last year in this car. He's got 1 top 10 finish in the first 5 races this season, as this team has been on a bit of a struggle. As you can tell by the quarter panels, they're looking for money, just like a bunch of teams are. Second lap, 28.6 seconds. He'll keep him 23rd on the provisional starting grid.
Picks it up just a little bit, but not near enough. But he's in the show. And all they need now is a sponsor on the side of that quarter panel.
How about Justin Allgaier's season? The sophomore, no slump here, as at Bristol, he showed just what he could do as he and teammate Brad Keselowski really put on a show.
Yeah, he just took it away from his teammate Brad K on that restart and drove to his first victory right here. Looks like Brad had a shot at him, but he wasn't going to take a cheap shot on his teammate.
And it was Roger Penske's team finishing 1-2 for the first time ever in the Nationwide Series. And the second time they've done it in NASCAR touring action. And there you can see the stats on these guys as they are 2nd and 3rd in the points, the best positions Dodge has ever been in. And you can see his first career win, and you haven't been able to wipe the smile off his face since.
Especially when you win it at Bristol. I mean, when you win Bristol for your first race, that just gives you a little special feel. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, you don't win there by accident.
He is 21 points right now behind points leader Carl Edwards. And as we go into lap tracker, you can see first lap at 27.87 seconds. And this one, a little bit better. He's 7th right now.
You hear the engine getting into the rev limiter there on the backstretch. That's always a good sign. Means you've got a little extra speed there.
Yeah, I've liked that. When I hear that thing hit the rev limiter, that means I'm definitely going faster this lap.
This is going to be very close to what he ran on the first lap. In fact, very consistent, 2 100ths quicker. So he'll stay 7th with a 27.85 second lap. A lot of pressure on the Jack Roush teams. If you've been with us throughout the season, both the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse and the 16 of Colin Brown, they've been struggling this year. They have yet to come out for qualifying. They are outside the top 30. Let's check in. Shannon Spake.
Well, outside the top 30 because he's had 3 DNFs in the past 5 races. I read some quotes this week saying you have a lot of confidence in this team and the equipment, but how much pressure do you feel on these qualifying days when you are outside the top 30?
Well, you know, being outside the top 30 is not where any team wants to be, especially when we've got as good a group as we do on this number 16 Roush Fenway Ford Fusion team. I mean, you know, my crew chief, Eddie Pardue's got a lot of experience. All these guys on the team do, and certainly not where we want to be, but I know we've got a really good group of guys, so I'm not really too concerned about getting in. You know, I'm more concerned down the road. We got to get inside the top 30 in case we have a race where it does rain out. So, you know, that's our whole goal this weekend, is to get back inside the top 30 and get back in that comfort zone.
And his teammates on the pole right now, so the Fords are fast here today. Marty?
Whoa, and as you finish up, Shannon, Mike Wallace gets it sideways, coming out of 4. His first lap, 29.05 seconds. That's 26th.
He's driving a car awful hard right now, really giving it everything it's got. And the car looks pretty loose to me right now. And as that onboard computer, I call it, as the driver kicks in, you know, hey, that first lap, I can't drive it that hard. I got to alter my driving a little bit, Andy.
Yeah, it's working his second lap. Looked like he used some of that dirt track experience coming off turn 4 that last lap, though.
He still hacks on that wheel. You could see his hands working inside there. Second lap as he comes across the line, moves him up a couple of spots to 24th at 28.53 seconds. So a total of 28 cars have taken times here. Still more to come in qualifying. And right now the pole sitter is Carl Edwards with Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Greg Biffle as we watch Justin Allgaier, whoa, getting a little sideways. I've seen that a few times. In fact, here's Mike Wallace through the same corner as we're dirt tracking at Phoenix International Raceway. You're looking at Scott Lagasse Jr. as he is on lap number 2 of his qualifying effort. His first lap, 27.88 seconds, good enough for the number 8 spot right now. And he will stay 8th as he falls off just a bit to 28.02 on the second lap. So Scott, who has his father now on top of the box, and his father ran here in the Truck Series for a team owned by guys by the name of Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick back in 1996. Tony Raines also went through qualifying while we were in break, and there you can see Tony's numbers, currently 15th on the grid. And let's talk to the man who won back at Bristol. We showed you that victory. Justin Allgaier, and Jamie Little's with him.
And he sits 7th right now. So we're standing right here just coming out of turn 4. You had a little oh no moment on your first lap. How loose was it?
It was pretty loose, but it's a lot farther around than I made it last spring here. The Verizon Dodge guys did a great job, though. And we came to the field last spring and were able to come from me crashing qualifying and come up to 8th. So we worked really hard on the race setup and felt like that, you know, we knew we were going to be loose qualifying, and you just got to give it up in the heart of the day. And I feel like we got a car that will contend for a win tonight.
All right, Marty, one of only a couple of drivers who finished top 10 every race this season.
Yeah, in fact, it is just he and Carl Edwards, and then we mentioned the 32 car with 2 different drivers, Brian Vickers and Reed Sorensen. Right now, Kevin LePage, as we are now into the go or go homers, as he must qualify on time. And right now, his first lap puts him 26th, 28.53 seconds.
Like I said, there's only one car going home. Not a lot of pressure there, but you don't want to be the slowest guy out of this group, or you will be the guy going home.
Yeah, you don't want to say, oh, no problem, I'm locked in this baby. Only one car is going to go home, and then you end up being that guy because you overdrove the car. Oh, that'd be an embarrassing moment.
Well, LePage's best lap, 28.45 seconds, moves him up to the 25th position. Let's talk a little bit about ABC and your NBA destination for the Sunday showcase. At 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, the top 2 teams in the East go head-to-head, the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then at 3:30 Eastern, it's the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. NBA Sunday Showcase on ABC. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern with GMC Sierra NBA Countdown. Getting close to crunch time in the NBA. Playoffs just around the corner. We're just now looking at the 6th race of 35 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series here tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. And on track right now is Michael McDowell. And now, since we are into the go or go home category, the tracker will be in comparison to where Kevin LePage is right now, as he is 25th on the grid. And so far, Michael McDowell is better, and yes, he is, 28.253. So he has already locked himself in.
Already. Now he's going to go try to get a little more. See, now we're tracking him actually to the pole sitter, Carl Edwards, and he's got a great lap going here, tracking 8th down the backstretch.
He's got new sponsorship this weekend with Roto-Rooter. New paint scheme on the 81. Going a little south through 3 and 4, but still better than lap number 1.
Yeah,
in fact, it's really good. Moves him into the top 10.
Good job, 27.96 P10. Awesome, buddy. Awesome job.
Very good job by Michael McDowell, as he's raced here 3 times before. His best finish, 11th, back in the spring race here last year. So as he coasts on out, we're going to coast on out for a quick commercial break, but there's still more qualifying here at Phoenix. Back here at Phoenix, Dennis Setzer took one and only one lap. That's all he needed because he was quick enough to get into the field at 28.44 seconds. We can also tell you that Brian Keselowski, during the commercial break, ran a 28.25, and that puts him 20th in this field currently. So that means Kevin LePage is still the man on the bubble of the one and only one that could possibly go home. Let's quickly check in with Jamie Little.
And an impressive run with Scott Lagasse, 8th on the board right now. Scott, I know it's a new team. You guys are working together. How good was that qualifying run?
We're happy with that. We were a little bit free, so we really just focused on race trim today. And I'm looking forward to the race. Everybody's screaming tight, and we were a little bit free there, so should be a good day for us.
All right, good luck tonight. He sits 12th in points right now. Marty?
And a lot of eyes will be watching for his performance tonight, and a lot of eyes watching this team right now. Roush Fenway Racing's rookie pair, Colin Brown, we talked about it. They are outside the top 30, he and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and there is Jack Roush with not much of a smile on his face.
Well, you think about how big that is. This car, the 16 car, won this race last year with Greg Biffle. And here they are outside of the top 30. I say there's good reason for concern.
Well, he's going to definitely punch himself in, yes, all the way up to the 13th spot, 28.11 seconds, so he's definitely in. The last time a Roush Fenway racing car failed to qualify, February 2005, Matt Kenseth missed in the old number 17.
Hey, look what we got going here now.
Yeah, he's going after pole potentially here. Keep an eye on this.
Yeah, this car's flat flying right now. It looks fantastic, although off of turn 3, little problem right there. Right in the middle of the entry to 3 to 4.
Still an excellent effort, though. You look at this. He's going to pick it up to 8th fastest.
Yes, it does. Moves ahead of Scott Lagasse and right behind Justin Allgaier. So Jack nodding his approval as that's a good run. Now the trick for this team is stay out of the problems that are not always created by them, but they have been swept up. And boy, these two teams have been struggling. As you see, here are the finishes since Daytona, and the best is 18th in California by Colin.
That's some tough finishes right there. And they have a lot of tore-up race cars. I know about that, so I'm not saying anything about it. That's for sure. It's a tough one. Cost old Jack a lot of money.
Well, and the other thing to remember about Roush Fenway Racing, they have more wins here than anybody else. I mean, 7 victories in the Nationwide Series, 14 total, 5 in Cup, 2 in the trucks. I mean, in the Nationwide Series, there's only one other team with multiple wins, and that's Richard Childress. And they have owned this track, so it'll be an interesting comparison tonight to see how they do. And here's Morgan Shepherd right now as he has to qualify on time. Remember the time he's trying to beat, 28.45 of Kevin LePage, and it looks like he's got it. He is notched into the 27th spot right now. And so LePage is still the man on the bubble.
And boy, for a team like Morgan Shepherd is very low in finances to get locked in after you got to come clear from Carolina all the way out to Arizona to the race. That costs a lot of money, and it really makes a guy like this nervous thinking that he might not make this race. So great job out of him.
Going to get a paycheck this week.
Looks like he's going to maybe improve even a little bit as Morgan crosses. And it was better, but not enough to move him higher than 26th on the grid. But he's in the show, so Morgan will be racing at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. So Kevin LePage still sweating some bullets as we've got a few more cars still to go. This is not the way the race car was designed before it came to Phoenix. That is Mark Green. He did not have a very happy 51st birthday present. He turned 51 yesterday. Let's show you what happened on his first qualifying lap during commercial break. Andy?
Yeah, you see the car gets real loose right here. Coming off 4, he chases the car up now. You see him, he tags this wall just enough to knock that quarter panel in and knock the bumper. You see the bumper falling off the car and sliding to the inside of the track. Now, the important thing is here for Mark, he had to keep running and run another lap because he is not locked into this field. He has to make a qualifying run, so he was lucky that bumper slid to the inside so he didn't hit it on the second lap.
And his run was not quicker than Kevin LePage, so he is now on the bump spot. LePage is locked in, and Mark Green is sweating on his time of 28.78 seconds. We'll step aside. We still got 6 cars to go.
Oh, he's in.
Back at Phoenix International Raceway, where David Gilliland has just locked himself into the field. He's 25th fastest on the charts, 28.34 seconds, which still means that Mark Green is the man on the bump spot. And while he brings it on back to the garage area, Jamie Little has caught up with Michael McDowell.
And the local man himself sits 11th right now. How much of a relief is it? This is the first week you guys had to qualify on time, and you guys are well in the field.
Yeah, no, it's great. We're really excited to have Roto-Rooter on the car this weekend. We hate coming here being out of the race, you know, having to qualify your way in. So we just want a good, smooth night, get back in the top 25 in points, not have to worry about making these races, and just get some momentum. You know, we had a couple tough weeks, and McDonald Motorsports guys work hard. So want to get him a good finish in front of the hometown crowd.
All right, and he has a new sponsor trying to make him proud, Marty.
Thank you, Jamie. As you finish up, Jason Keller locks himself in with his first lap at 28.48. If he can crack the top 10 in the race, it would be his 175th in the Nationwide Series. This wily old veteran, though, has had a struggle this season, guys. 2 of his 3 Nationwide starts have ended in DNFs.
That's a lot of top 10s for Keller. Been around for a long time doing this.
Whoa, whoa, whoa now. A little loose.
Second lap is better, at least until he got loose there, and
Still
he comes across. And it's very consistent, better by 1/1000th of a second.
Well, it's better.
Well, we're laughing, but I guarantee you Mark Green is not, because he is still waiting to see if his fate is going to be green or red. Only one car goes home, and right now he's the man.
Yeah, Mark Green's a great qualifier. I mean, he has a reputation of putting cars in the field and cars that sometimes aren't really capable of doing it. Had a little trouble today, though, and he's going to have to watch these other cars qualify to see if he makes it.
Well, here's John Borneman as he started 28th and finished 43rd back at California. That's his only start of the season. And he's on his lap right now.
And he knows he's got the pressure on him, too. He's been watching a lot of guys get loose, and he got a little loose right there off a turn 2. That car wiggled around a little bit, lost a little bit of speed.
He is flirting
just below that time now of Mark Green.
Yeah, when you see that box that says the plus and minus, when it's plus like it is, now it's minus, that means he's quicker. And as he comes to the stripe, he is in. Borneman, 28.71 seconds, doesn't even need to run the second lap. Looks like he is, though.
He's just trying to pick it up a little bit for this start position, because it is important here. I mean, to get a good finish, you need to be starting up front. So he wants to try to move himself up there a little bit.
Andy, that corner right there, turn 4, we've seen the many carrs getting loose all day long right there. The corner's so wide and so long, and you pick the throttle up and you carry a lot more speed off of turn 4 than you are off of turn 2. And it just causes you to get it loose that way.
4 more cars to go. John Borneman is in. It is Casey Mears, Danny O'Quinn, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Derek Cope. Those are the 4. And next out in the number 10, Casey Mears.
Well, now you know this car is going to run. This car is out of Brown Racing. He was actually 15th fastest in practice, and I don't think that he did a qualifying attempt. So I expect him to have a good, strong top 10 qualifying run out of this car.
And there's Casey's numbers with his 1 win back in 06 at Chicago. 20 top 10s in 29 starts.
Yeah, he's got 20. Yeah, what you said, 20 top 10s out of 29? That's a pretty good graphic right there.
Pretty good
run. He's consistent, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And he's on his first lap and tracking below the line. Remember the time?
And looking at the pole sitter here, Carl Edwards.
Good point. I was thinking he was to Mark Green, and he is well above Mark Green He is 18th right now at 28.17 seconds. So solidly in the field with 3 cars to go.
And that's a pretty quick first lap also. So I expect to pick up the second lap a little bit at least.
He's the 5th different driver in this number 10 car in the last 5 races. And
he was quicker till we got to there.
Yeah. At turn 4, it's just eating everybody up all day long. Just real loose off of turn 4. Almost all the cars are.
So he will stay in that 18th position. But he's solidly in the field for tonight's race, and another one of these cars that has a lot of sponsor space available, as the signs of the economy are ever present in all of motorsports. You know, we mentioned 2006 and that win back at Chicago. While we're waiting for the next car to roll on out, why don't we take you back and let you relive the moment. Good sized crowd on hand that day. As Casey Mears takes the win.
Driving for Chip Ganassi that day. That was a good, strong run. I remember that.
Danny O'Quinn, now the 24-year-old from Virginia. Remember, he has to beat the time of Mark Green. 28.78 seconds is the magic number, and right now he's not doing it.
Yeah, that's one thing that is an advantage when you know what you have to run to get in. He has to run a 28.78 or better to get in, and that's an advantage to know what you have to do, and that way you don't have to go and overdrive the car. You can see right now he's below that line, and looks like he will lock himself in.
And he does. 28.71 seconds by 700. So he is solidly in the field. The 2006 NASCAR Rookie of the Year in the Nationwide Series. Started 16th back at Bristol. That was his best start in 3 races this season.
A little bit quicker the second lap. The first lap, he just turned 3 and 4. That car was all over the place. A little bit lower line this particular time. Clock's in right now, a little faster, 28.52 compared to the first lap of a 71. Good run for Danny.
And moves him up 3 more spots from 38th to 35th on the field. So while he's coasting on out, let's talk about the calendar and get you set up for the weekend. Of course, we're back on tonight at 9 Eastern with the NASCAR Nationwide Series here at Phoenix on ESPN2. NASCAR Now is also coming up next, and then tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals qualifying tomorrow morning at 10:30 Eastern, and the finals at Sunday, 8 Eastern. Both of those on ESPN2. Two cars to go. Mark Green still the man solidly on the bump. And this is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We've documented the travails of the 6 and the 16 for Roush Fenway Racing. His partner, Colin Brown, is solidly in the field. And right now, tracking to Mark, he is in the green.
A lot of pressure on this fellow right here. Ricky Stenhouse is concerned about his ride, hopes he can stay in this car. Had a lot of crashes, a lot of trouble. He's a good little driver, but just in the wrong place.
Well, we switched the graph now. He's solidly in the field at 26. This is comparing him to pole sitter Carl Edwards, and right now got a pretty good run going into 3.
Almost looks like the Colin Brown run we saw earlier, where he picked it up quite a bit on that second lap. All these Roush cars are fast. Carl Edwards on the pole.
And he's going to jump up to 14th, so a good solid run for the number 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. His teammate Colin Brown is going to start 8th, and we're down to 1 car. Let's quickly check in with Jamie Little. She's caught up to Casey Mears.
Back in a Nationwide car for the first time this year. Also doing double duty. You're on standby for Denny Hamlin on the Cup side of things. What's it like for you to be back in a Nationwide car?
It's fun. I'm having a good time. Todd Braun called me last week and asked if I wanted to run here, and I said absolutely. So it's fun. I'm having a good time. We should have had a better qualifying lap there. I got a little loose into 3, but you know, we'll have a lot of fun coming up through the field, and we'll see what happens later tonight.
Qualified 18th. The goal is to get this car in the top 30 in points. Marty.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Derek Cope, the final man. It's either he's in or he's out, and if he gets in, it's Mark Green that's out.
It looks like if he doesn't do anything wrong, Derek Cope, he'll be in the race. You can see now he's a 10th.5 to the good in the green.
The 1990 Daytona 500 winner right now trying to punch his way into this Nationwide Series field, and it looks like he's going to do it. He does. He's 31st, 28.40 seconds. So now we know that Mark Green is the one and only car that is not going to qualify for tonight's race at 9 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN2.
Boy, if you'd asked me who was going to be the car going home, it would not have been Mark Green.
I think we all three would have agreed on that. But that's what happens if you just bang that wall. And
just one little slip. I mean, that wall has been tearing a lot of people up. I mean, we've seen some cars crash in practice. The 15 car of Michael Annette. We saw the 21 of John West Townley. We saw a lot of the Cup guys really loose and sliding out of control. And it bit Mark Green.
So as he brings it on out, we can tell you that Carl Edwards is going to be on pole. Kyle Busch second, Brad Keselowski third, Greg Biffle fourth. And there is our pole sitter. And if you're wondering, we are getting close to running out of time. But NASCAR Now is going to be following. So stay with us on ESPN2. And Mike Massaro and the gang at NASCAR Now will be talking to Carl at that point. And there you see the top four. Remember, the last 7 times and in 13 of 16 races, the winner has come from that top 4 starting position. Jack Roush has more wins here in the Nationwide Series than any other owner by far. He owns 7 of them. And what do you think about tonight? Let's take a look at this board. Of the top 4, who do you like the best? And then give me somebody outside.
Well, it's hard to bet against those Gibbs cars. They're so strong. With Kyle Busch up there on the outside pole, he looks good, and so does the Penske cars.
Yeah, I've really got to take a look at Carl Edwards. Now, at this particular racetrack, he's been fantastic here with this setup. I mean, I'm not going to pick anybody, but I really think Edwards is going to be strong throughout the night. Not because he's on the pole, but what I saw him practicing in the past.
The thing to remember about Carl Edwards is his 3 wins came in the November race. He's never won here in April, so we'll see if that holds true as well. As you can see throughout the rest of the starting field, is there anybody that has surprised you either on the positive or negative side?
Well, Scott Lagacy Jr. Starting in the top 10. He surprised me with that new team, and as well as they've done, they're trying to break through with that first win, and might come tonight.
Caleb Braun, you know, qualified 8th today for the race tonight. I mean, he was under pressure a lot because he's out of the top 30. That was a good run for him.
So we will find out what happens at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight when we will go racing in race number 6 of the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series, as there's the final 2 rolls. And the only car that is going home is Mark Green with the damage to that right rear quarter, as that was just enough to knock him out of tonight's race. A tough break. As we mentioned, he just celebrated his 51st birthday just yesterday. So the field is set. It's time to go racing. We'll kick it off with the NASCAR Nationwide Countdown. It'll be presented by Hellman's at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. And don't forget, we'll be talking to Carl Edwards in NASCAR Now, which is coming up next here on ESPN2. For our entire ESPN2 crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here on Qualifying. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. Till we meet again.